Everybody online wants to make $10,000 per month or six figures per year, and that's a great aspirational goal. Derek, my business partner, and I were able to hit that in only a couple of months. We were able to scale our social media marketing agency to six figures, leave our 9-to-5 jobs for good, and today have scaled it all the way to seven figures per year, as verified by that awesome plaque sitting on the sofa behind me in my office here. With more and more options available today to start businesses online, which is best for you and what's the best vehicle to build your wealth and to build your dream life through an online business. That's what we're going to talk about through this video today with everything that I've learned over the years. And I'm going to talk about some of the pros, cons, and differences of these different businesses. And if I was starting over today, how I'd go about getting to my first $10,000 per month or six figures per year. Before I do that though, I wanted to let you know that we recently launched a brand new online community where all of you can connect and interact both with Derek and myself with free courses and all sorts of assets to help you with your agency journey, but also to help you develop your wealth, health, and personal development. So the only question is, why haven't you joined Growth Club yet? Check that out in the description down below. We'll see you in there. Now, there are three main businesses that you can start online that a lot of people are talking about online right now. If you've been on YouTube at all, you probably have seen these, and those are SMMA. That's a business that Derek, my business partner, and I run. It's a social media marketing agency providing social media services for clients. The second is drop shipping. Drop shipping is a form of e-commerce where you deliver products and goods to customers online. And the third is a new platform called School. That is what Derek and I are hosting our new Community Growth Club on. Again, why haven't you joined that already? Now, there's a couple factors that I want to look at here. The first is I want to look at the cost to get started. I want to look at the time that it's actually going to take you to start earning money with these models. I'm going to look at experience required. And finally, I'm going to look at the scalability over time. All right, so the nice thing about all of these models is that they all are fairly simple and inexpensive to get started with. For a social media marketing agency, you're looking at about $200 to get started, and that's for things like forming your LLC, getting your business email. Those are all fixed costs that all these models are going to require. But SMMA is by far the cheapest out of all these to get started with because those fixed costs are going to be required for all of them. They're just things that are required to start any type of business, but there's no upfront costs on top of that are needed to start a social media marketing agency. Now, drop shipping, a lot of people will tell you that there are no upfront costs, but to actually do drop shipping correctly, you need to actually shoot content, you need to actually order the product, you need to get a lot of variants of the product. So while it's a lot cheaper than starting maybe, an e-commerce brand, like the next Nike or Allbirds or something, there's still some upfront costs that are required. So for drop shipping, I'm gonna give it $2 signs. It's still fairly economical, but it's a little bit more expensive than SMMA. Now, School is also a very lean, economical option to get started with. Building a school community online is not very expensive. It's $100 per month to start a group. So it's really not that much more, but it's a little bit more than SMMA. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that $2 signs. So SMMA is the cheapest, but the others honestly are really not that much more expensive, but they are going to have some more overhead. The big caveat though to be aware of with dropshipping that nobody will tell you is that actually there are a lot of costs that become sunken costs with the model. So because a lot of the goods that you'll be shipping to people come from overseas, when people actually return those goods, they don't return it to the vendor that sent it to them overseas, they return it to you. So you end up with a lot of broken packaging and a lot of inventory that you might not know what to do with and you might not be able to resell. So just something to be aware of here with dropshipping is that those returns can add up pretty quickly, and Derek and I know from experience because we actually used to run a dropshipping company. Now let's look at time to actually start making money. The reason why I really like SMMA and why the reason I say that it's the best first business to start online is you can get started with it right away, and in a couple of weeks you can start invoicing people thousands of dollars. So the average retainer for a new agency owner is roughly $1,000 per month with very, very little experience. And it goes all the way up to, now we're charging $15,000 per month just to work with us for a lot of our clients. But the time to get started with SMMA is very, very, very short. It's easy to set up and it's easy to start getting your first clients paying you thousands of dollars per month. So for that, on a scale out of 10, I'm gonna go ahead and give SMMA a 10 out of 10 because it is by far the easiest way to start making thousands of dollars per month online, even if you don't really have a lot of skills to speak of yet. Now, drop shipping also is something that you can get started with right away, but the reality is it might take you a lot of time to start learning how to actually make sales online. If you have an existing audience, it's gonna be a lot easier for you. So if you're watching this and you've got tens of thousands of folks following you on different social channels that are really bought in on what it is that you're selling, they might be very interested in a product that you launch, and you might be able to start making some money with that very quickly. If you don't already have an audience, really the only way you're going to be able to start making money with dropshipping is either if one of your pieces of organic content, like a TikTok or something, pops off, which is really not that predictable, or if you run ads. So because of those reasons, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give dropshipping a 5 out of 10 here. School is very similar to dropshipping in a lot of ways in terms of the things that I was talking about just a moment ago. If you have an existing audience, like Derek and I have 20,000 subscribers on YouTube, Derek's got a ton of subscribers on his YouTube channel, I've got a couple thousand on mine, you got a couple thousand followers collectively on Instagram, and we have tens of thousands of people on our email lists that we can market to right away. So when we want to get the word out on our new community that we just launched, we have an audience, which is why we're moving forward with school. But if you don't have an audience of people, especially people that are interested in whatever your school community is going to be about, it's going to be pretty difficult for you to get rolling with that. So if you have an audience, right away you can start monetizing and doing well on school. But if you don't have an audience, it's going to take you a really, really long time to start bringing those people in, despite what anybody tells you. You're going to have to produce a ton of content, you're going to have to produce a ton of trust with people, and it's just going to take you a while to start building out that school community. So in terms of time, specifically for beginners, I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 10. Again, these are great options if you're passionate about dropshipping and e-commerce. Great business model for you to get into. If you're passionate about building communities and you want to go through the legwork of creating all of that content and waiting to make money for potentially a long time to build your community and have that clout, that's awesome. But if you're trying to make thousands of dollars in the first couple of months of your entrepreneurial journey, SMMA is likely going to be the way for you to go if you want to start invoicing a couple $1,000s per month pretty quickly. All right, so now let's talk about experience. Now, when it comes to experience, no matter what anybody tells you, you are going to have to develop some skills to be successful with any of these businesses. There's courses that you can buy, like the SMMA Blueprint, that teach you a lot of what you need to know, but you're going to have to self-educate. You're going to have to figure things out as you go with any of these models that you choose. Now, if you look at SMMA, the nice thing about SMMA is that you can get started working with folks, and it's almost like a paid internship. So because you can start at a lower rate, people will be willing to work with you as you increase your skill set. So as an example, you'll start working with somebody for $500 a month, $750, $1,000 a month, whatever, and then you'll start delivering some results for them. And the next client that you work with, you can go ahead and raise your price $500 per month. So now you're at $1,500, and so on and so on and so on, until at some point you're at $15,000 per month, like Derek and myself, or a lot of clients that we're working with. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give SMMA an 8 out of 10 for experience, because you're going to have to be familiar with social media. You're going to need to know how Instagram works, how TikTok works, how Facebook works, and to be somewhat familiar with these platforms and understand how social media works today in order to get started with SMMA. Dropshipping requires a bit more skill on the front end, because you're actually going to have to know how to monetize your products. So you're either going to have to know how to create organic content, you're going to have to know how to run paid ads to drive sales, or you're going to have to know something else or some other traffic sources, or maybe people with large audiences if you want to monetize this model. So it's still a great viable option, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 for experience, because you are going to have to actually know how to monetize this if you want to make it successful. Now, school is something that's really attractive to a lot of people. But the thing is, when you build a community of people online, you need to be a leader for the people in that community. You need to have something that you can teach them. People that are joining our school community are learning not only about social media marketing, but they're also learning about the last 15 years of Derek and my's self-development, personal development journey. We've got a lot to share. We've got a lot of learnings. We've got all sorts of stories and analogies that we can provide as value to the group. We've also got a lot of courses that we can create that we've been wanting to create for a while, but just haven't had the time, where we can dump a ton of value into our school community on day one. If you're a brand new entrepreneur and you haven't really been down the road, it's going to be difficult for you to make a group for entrepreneurs. Or if you're making a school group for people that are hybrid athletes and you're a brand new hybrid athlete, again, it's going to be difficult for you to build that community of people because you don't have the experience required to educate them and provide value, where they're going to want to be signing up for $50, $100, or whatever it is that you're charging per month for your school community. So because of that, I do think it is something that is fairly simple to get started with, and people that are really passionate about building communities, if you have some prior experience in your life, it can be a great option. But out of the three of these, I truly believe that school is going to require some of the most experience, despite what all the gurus are telling you right now. So because of that, I'm I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna give school a 4 out of 10. Now here's the thing about the last piece here, scalability. The reality is SMMA, unless you're gonna start building a team, at some point you're gonna hit a ceiling where you need to start building team members, or you're not gonna be able to handle all of the workload yourself. This is probably the biggest drawback to starting a social media marketing agency. I've seen thousands of entrepreneurs build multi-six-figure social media marketing agencies, but if you want to go to the point where you are generating millions of dollars, it's going to be most difficult with SMMA. So in terms of scalability, still a scalable business to make more money than pretty much any people watching this are probably making right now. But when you really want to scale to multi-millions of dollars per year, like to give you some idea, Derek and I, we're 7-figure agency owners. We got a team of 20 plus people all around the world, working on a contract basis for our agency. Still have amazing profit margins, but in order to hit that, we needed to scale our business and build our team. So I'm going to go ahead here. I'm going to give SMMA a 6 out of 10 for scalability. Now, dropshipping is something that you absolutely can scale, but the thing about dropshipping is that you oftentimes run into a lot of problems. I've seen a lot of horror stories for folks when they really start hitting the higher levels of dropshipping, moving into the hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue, millions of dollars in revenue, because you're very reliant on the vendors that you're working with. Unlike a lot of other e-commerce models, you actually don't own the process. You don't actually have direct contracts oftentimes with people that are developing your product. They're actually developing the product, and you're taking a margin on reselling their product to the end user, and they're shipping it and taking care of all that for you. So you really have no control over them maintaining their inventory. You have no control over them, producing enough for orders that might be coming in. If you're printing money with dropshipping and you want to spend more and more money on ads, they might run out of inventory and you might literally hit a ceiling where you actually can't make any more money with it. That is, of course, until they order more or produce more or whatever they need to do. So because of this, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna give dropshipping a better score than SMMA, but I'm gonna go ahead and give that an 8 out of 10. Now, out of all these, school is probably the most scalable. It's a fairly frictionless experience, and it operates a lot like a SaaS platform. People opt in like they're opting in for a fitness app or a lot of other subscription applications that they're familiar with, and you're able to cater to a large community through school without a lot of friction. So unlike dropshipping where you have to ship products, they're basically getting recurring access on a recurring basis to your school community. So it's quite desirable when it comes to scalability. So out of each of these, I would go ahead and give school the highest rankings here with a 10 out of 10 for scalability. So now if I'm somebody who's looking at this chart and I'm thinking to myself, hey, I want to go ahead and I want to get started, I want to start making money right away, and I want to do something that doesn't have a lot of risk, I feel like the obvious choice here is a social media marketing agency. And this is exactly what Derek and I uncovered when we were starting our business back in 2016. We looked at all the different options that were available at the time, and we said, hey, SMMA or social media marketing seems like the best way to start making money first. Maybe we'll move into dropshipping one day. Maybe one day we'll have a community. I mean, honestly, we weren't thinking about anything like this, but we saw it as the best way to start growing our skills, and then we could take those skills and start doing other things like we've done. We've started a YouTube channel, created a course, and we've got a school community. These are all social media marketing agency skills that we've learned from growing and scaling our agency that now we're replicating into other business models that we have in our lives. So for the rest of the video here, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna focus on SMMA and explain exactly what I would do if I was starting over this year and I need to go ahead and make this profitable right away. So step one is we're gonna wanna go ahead and set up our agency. So I wanna do this lean. I might not have a lot of money. I want the bare minimum here so that I can actually start making money with my agency. And then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take the earnings from my business and I'm gonna go ahead and reinvest that down the line. But I wanna get this started for as cheap as possible. Here's exactly what you need to get rolling. The first thing that you need is a name. There's a ton of name generators online. I think Shopify's got one. There's a bunch. Just go ahead and search business name generator. Put a couple of words that make sense, or maybe just use your initial and throw agency on the end, and you're good to go. Keep it simple. Pick it, you can change it down the line, but don't get stuck on this point. The next thing that you need is a domain. So this is youragency.com, right? Your web address. When you pick your name, I would definitely make sure that the .com address is available. Everybody's just gonna type in agencyname.com. They're not gonna think of .io or .ai or whatever. Pick a .com domain and make sure that it's available when you pick your name. The third thing that you need is an email. a nice, legit business email. If you've watched our videos on things that hold agency owners back, a lot of new agency owners trying to use a free Gmail and people don't take them seriously and they never find success with their agency. I know I personally ignore any Gmail that reaches out to me trying to sell something, tells me they don't take their business seriously and it's not worth my time. The next thing that you need is your website. So in the description for this video, there's a free website template that you can go ahead and click it once and it'll literally set up your entire website and you can go ahead and design it exactly how you want. It's a free template that you can use in the description down below. Go ahead and tap that link. The last thing that you need is to go ahead and actually incorporate your business in one way or another. So here in the US, there are two different ways that I would suggest. Keep in mind, this is not legal advice, but you basically are looking at an LLC or a limited liability company or a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor basically just means that you're taxed as yourself. It's very inexpensive to start and you just use your social security number when you register that business. An LLC might cost you a couple $100s to go ahead and get it created, but it's going to offer you additional legal protections in case you run into any issues down the line. Again, this is not legal advice, but what I see work well for a lot of people is to start with a sole proprietorship to get started and then take those funds once they close their first client and then go ahead and file their LLC. All right, so now we have our agency set up. We've got a nice looking website and we look legit. The next thing that we want to do is we want to start chasing after our first client. But the first thing that comes up for a lot of people is, hey, I have no experience. I haven't worked with any clients. Dave, Derek, what can I possibly do? So for this, we suggest that you do what is called a free trial, okay? A free trial is basically a 7 or 14-day project that you will offer to businesses in your local area where you'll run a giveaway campaign or you'll run a lead generation campaign for them and you'll do that for free. They will pay for the ad spend, so that's not coming out of your pocket. I want to make that very clear. But you say, hey, I'm a new agency owner. I'm going to take my skills and I'm looking to work with businesses in your niche. I'd like to offer my services to you for 7 or 14 days, generate some leads or generate some customers for your business. And I'm not asking for anything in return. You just pay for the ad spend. And what this does is this obviously helps them. They get some leads. They get to know you as an agency owner. But for you, most importantly, this is getting you some experience where you can set up your first ad, set up your first funnel, your first lead capture, work with email automation on the back end, and you can do this on a very, very low risk basis. In the SMA Blueprint course, we have an entire module on this. We call it the Fast Path to Cash, where we talk through the entire process of getting free trial clients. Go ahead and check that out if you're interested. When Derek and I were first getting started, this is exactly what we did. Derek went to a brand new hair salon that had just opened up in his hometown. He walked in and he said, hey, I'd love to work with you. I'm brand new agency owner in the area here. And what I'd like to do is do a giveaway campaign. What I think would work really well is if you just take a bunch of product that maybe you're not planning on using or is out of date. We can set up a nice photo on a table here and I can run an ad on Facebook for people in the local area where they can go ahead and opt in, offer their information for the free giveaway, and then you'll pick a winner, but then you'll have a bunch of people from this that are leads that you can follow up with and offer, a discount on their haircut or whatever. We ended up crushing it, generating a ton of leads. They were super, super thrilled with us. And most importantly, we got work experience that we could use to go and close our first client. All right, so now we concluded our free trial. What we're gonna wanna go ahead and do is turn that into a case study. Right? So just take some snapshots, take a picture of Facebook Ad Manager, Instagram Ad Manager, whatever it is, show how many impressions, how many clicks, how many people saw the ad, how many people actually turned into leads. So you got something awesome that you can give to people when you actually go to step 3 here, which is going ahead and getting our first paying client. Now, if I was just getting started with this, I would do exactly what Derek and I did when we were first getting started with our agency, which is the slow way of getting clients, but it's a way that works incredibly well. What I would do is I would go to Google local search, which is just Google Maps, and I would type in the industry in your area. So fitness studios in Minneapolis, as an example, or in Phoenix, or electricians, whatever it is, whatever niche you want to target. If you have questions about what niches to target, just Google's niche on our channel. There's a ton of great niche recommendations on our channel. And what you're going to do is you're going to start pulling up these websites and emailing all of these folks. We got other videos on this that talk about how to cold email for your agency. I'll link to one of those in the description down below with a cold email script for you to use to start reaching out to these businesses. What I would do is I would go ahead and start contacting 50 businesses per day. Right now we have a boot camp going. It's called the SMMA Blueprint Bootcamp. We've got about 50 students in there, and all of them have been going and doing manual outreach and automated outreach. Big challenge for this was that they wanted to actually do a lot of this manually, and tons of people in the Blueprint Bootcamp are seeing results in their agency and closing deals because they're doing a lot of this manually. Over time, you can automate it, you can scale it, but when you're first getting started, I highly recommend one by one manually emailing a lot of the people that you're reaching out to. So now we got our first client, we're getting some work experience here. Now the question is, how do we scale this to $10,000 per month? Well, the answer is to keep doing the thing that got you that first client. I want to just go ahead and show you how easy it is for you to actually scale to 6 figures with a social media marketing agency. So for month 1, let's say that we went ahead and we got our first client and they're paying us $1,000 per month. Okay, now let's go ahead and let's assume that we're doing a great job for them and we're keeping them like we want to do and delivering good services for them. So month 2, we go ahead and we close an additional client for another $1,000 per month. Now our total is $2,000 MRR. In 2 months, we're literally a fifth of the way to $10,000 per month already. Now, if we go ahead and we keep doing the same thing, what ends up happening is things tend to snowball. The longer you work at it, the more touch points out there, the more people you've been contacted or out in the world, the more results you start to see. And as you're delivering great results for your clients, you're gonna start seeing some confidence boost. You're gonna see the fact that you can go ahead and start raising your rates. So for month 3, we've got 2 clients at $1,000 per month. Let's say that we go ahead and we start increasing our rates here and we say $1,500 per month. Boom, now we are at $3,500 per month. Month 4, let's say we do the same thing again. We're at 1,000 for 2, and we close our 4th client at $1,500 per month. In month 4, we are already at $5,000 per month. Now, all we need to do is close a bit more in the coming months. Month 5, we continue doing the thing. We raise our rates again. We raise them to $2,000 per month. And let's say, at this point, we're getting a little bit better at this. In month 5, we close 2 clients at $2,000 per month. That puts us at a tidy $9,000 per month. So in the first 5 months, we're literally just $1,000 short of our goal. Obviously, we're gonna hit that in month 6. That's really all that there is to it. It's completely possible, and this is exactly what Derek and I did when we wanted to quit our jobs and to take our agency full time. We closed our first client paying us $3,000 per month, only a couple of weeks in. We went full steam at it, and in 6 months, we scaled to the point that we could literally replace our 6-figure income paying both of us. We had hit over $10,000 per month, and we were at the point where we were ready to give notice to our employers. A lot of people tend to overcomplicate this, make it way more work than it needs to be. And the reality is, if you just start taking a couple of steps towards moving forward with your agency, set up the business, do a free trial, start outreaching to some business owners, use that free trial as a launch pad, as work experience to go ahead and market your business. Do a little bit of work for free, turn that into something that you can market yourself with. You're gonna start seeing amazing results with your business. And I really, truly believe that there's no better business in the world to start than a social media marketing agency. If you wanna start putting some serious money in your pocket, and then you can take money out of this business, you can invest it into employees to start doing a lot of this work and fulfillment for you. You can have them start sending the emails, you can train them on that, and you can reinvest, just like Derek and I did, earnings from your business into team members to start making life easier for you. If you have more questions about how to set this up at a deep level, this video right here where Derek talks about how to start an agency from start to finish, it's a great video to watch as a follow-up. He'll go a lot deeper on some of these topics than I do. And don't forget, in the description down below, we've got that website template. We've got a link to a cold email video for you with a cold email script to start doing some outreach and to start seeing some amazing results in your business.